All right, good morning, folks. It is 5 till 7 in the morning on Thursday, the 14th of July. It's day 103. And Martin and myself just packing up, kitting up, getting ready to walk out of the hotel room. Just got some breakfast next door over at Oxbow. Nice little spot. They had all that old-timey, like Bob Wills, Patsy Cline, old-timey cowboy Wyoming music. And just a really cool little diner there. Nice little breakfast, too. Yeah, so we got breakfast, picking up our packs. We're going to pop across the street over to the gas station, see if we can't catch a hitch. It's about 24 miles towards Desolation on Wyoming Highway 28 to get back to the trailhead. But hopefully we'll have success. I'll check in with you guys. All right, folks, good morning again. It is 7:58 in the morning. 2 till 8 a.m. We'll get this blaze tap out of the way. We were just back at the highway, back at Highway 28, down at the now northbound side of the highway. About to embark again. It's actually we were getting a little discouraged about trying to hitch, but really it wasn't that long. It was probably only 25 minutes or so. Really nice guy from Lander picked us up. He's on his way to Rock City to pick up some new laminate flooring. He's redoing some part of his house or something. Rock City, man. I didn't realize he's getting ready to drive like 120 miles out of Lander to go pick up what he needs to do what he needs to do back home. And saw us hitching, decided to scoop us up, and here we are. So yeah, feeling pretty good about it. Should say forecast for this jump looks a little weird, to be perfectly honest. Looks like there might be some thunderstorms, some afternoon thunderstorms coming in, kind of each of the 3 or 4 days or whatever that we're out. So I think the plan is we'll try and get as close to the alternate, or perhaps even down the alternate, for Cirque of the Towers today, which would be about 27 miles or something like that, and then wait and try and get through Cirque of the Towers tomorrow morning before those thunderstorms hopefully kick up. But yeah, I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. I don't know. I'll try and mention it if I think of it before the next clip. But meanwhile, just kind of kitting up. Got the bear spray on the hip. Lovely. Hopefully don't need it. Hopefully I just carry extra weight all the way to Canada. Yeah, should be good to go. Nice new gloves, nice new shoes, everything nice and fresh, permethrin, feeling good, feeling real good. And oh, you know what I didn't mention? I don't know how this slipped to my mind. So we went out for dinner last night, nice Italian joint actually here in town, Milano or something, I don't remember what it was called, something like that. And got a good meal. It was a nice restaurant, and I'm not blaming the food at all, but I was sick afterwards, man. We got back to the hotel and my stomach was just not feeling good, and wound up throwing up, and that was not great. Deeply concerning before getting on trail to be thrown up like that. But as soon as I evacuated that food, I was feeling better, slept well, didn't bother me anymore. I mean, pretty much as soon as I threw up, I was feeling better. But it's something I'm going to be paying attention to. Although, again, I mean, ate breakfast this morning, feel good. So I think it's hopefully out of my system and feeling a lot better now. But yeah, kind of concerning, but hopefully we'll be fine. I feel pretty good. I feel great, actually. I feel perfect. So hopefully that was just kind of one and done. But yeah, that's that. Looks like Martin's ready. Yep, Martin's coming along. So I guess we'll get hiking, and I will check in with you guys a little later. Into the winds. All right, good afternoon, folks. 3:33 p.m. Just finishing up lunch here at the convergence of Blair Creek and Sweetwater River. Yes, indeed, one in the same Sweetwater River, next to which I camped a few nights ago. Nice little sitting stump here, and that sort of moisture you see on the ground, that's just kind of where my pot boiled over. Had the Nor pasta sides, but not pasta. It was like their power rice burrito, like, I don't know what, cilantro, lime burrito, power rice blend or something like that, with a Star-Kissed extra virgin olive oil tuna packet. So a very fine lunch or dinner or whatever, indeed. And indeed the first of what I certainly hope will be a great many cooked meals in grizzly country. So, I mean, my understanding is that the south end of the winds, you're probably not very likely to come across any grizz here, but won't stop me from knocking on wood and acting accordingly. One thing I hadn't really totally thought through, and I mean, I like to pride myself on having thought through a great number of perhaps extreme overkill precautions, but I hadn't thought through how exactly to clean my cook pot in grizzly country, because my normal move is just kind of put some water in there, of course, and swirl it, splash it out, put some more water in there, and then kind of maybe pull up some dead grass or something and kind of use my fingers and just kind of clean it up using the dead grass as like a scrubby. Excuse me, works great, but I'm not super comfortable with, you know, rubbing my fingers all around like tuna fish oil and stuff in the pot. So I wound up just grabbing a stick and kind of using that instead of my finger. Still using the pulled up grass as well, kind of pulled up standing dead grass. That worked all right. We'll see. I mean, it's an evolution, you know. So we'll kind of see how it evolves. I don't think I mentioned I'm about 19 miles into the day, touch over 19 miles into the day. I would love to get in another 8. I would love to get in, honestly, more than that if I could. But if I can, I should say. But even as I was sitting there at lunch, one big dark cloud rolled over and dumped on me for a little bit. It wasn't too bad. Put my ground cover over most of my gear, and then put my poncho over my body. I just kind of sat there like a very sad soldier, kind of just eating my meal in the rain. But it was fine. It was fine. And then the cloud blew over. But I have been hearing just recently the rumblings of a heavy rolling thunder as well. So there may be more weather yet to come. Final thing I'll mention in this afternoon check-in, broke out onto the trail pretty quick, was moving pretty good, feeling pretty good, moving along, clipping along, making progress. Wound up just, I mean, totally not intentionally, but wound up just totally dusting Martin, leaving him back. When I stopped to filter water a while ago, a few hours ago, he caught up just as I was kind of finishing up. And, you know, I mean, we're fine, we're cool, but he hasn't been feeling great the last few days anyways, and pretty much insisted in as friendly a manner, you know, as appropriate considering that we're friends, that I just kind of go, you know, he doesn't like the idea of feeling like I'm waiting for him or anything like that. So with that, I am hiking on my own, and hope to see Martin again at some point down trail, perhaps even as soon as Jackson. Well, shoot, perhaps even as soon as Pinedale, but I don't know. I plan on Pinedale being a pretty quick stop for sure. So anyways, it's been great so far. I don't think I've gotten into like the most beautiful parts of the Wind River Range by any stretch of the imagination just yet. But if I am able to go another 8 miles, that would put me right at the junction for the Cirque of the Towers alternate, and that alternate stretches about 14 or 15 miles or something like that. What I'd really love to do is get to that alternate and then even bear up that alternate just a little bit. Oh, no pun intended. Just get up that alternate maybe a mile or whatever, just to say I made it. Yeah, and fundamentally, I still very much have my eyes on getting to Pinedale. And it's, as I said, I think earlier or yesterday or something, about 70 miles from Wyoming Highway 28 to the side trail, the 15-mile side trail that would lead me to Elkhart Trailhead, the hitch point for Pinedale, which means it's basically 85 miles from where I started this morning to where I could potentially take a hitch into Pinedale. So 85 miles, it's no slouch, but I think it's certainly achievable in 3.5 days, perhaps achievable in 3. We're kind of going to have to see how that goes. I really don't know how this trail's going to go, and I really want to enjoy it, so I'm not going to try and race through anything pretty, but I'll race through this sort of more procedural stuff if I can. No disrespect to this area, because I'd love to get to Pinedale either early enough on Sunday where I don't risk the one grocery store in the small town being closed on a Sunday, or even potentially on Saturday, which would be pretty sweet. Anyways, super long afternoon check-in. I'm gonna get back to hiking, and I'll check in with you guys a little later on this evening. All right, good evening, folks. It is 7:15 p.m. Just finished up crossing this creek with this big old, like, I don't think this isn't a beaver dam, but it's just a whole lot of driftwood that's kind of piled up here, made for a really nice sort of makeshift bridge to cross that creek. My sack and op sacks and food and fanny pack with all my snacks and trash and all that stuff is back across the creek, the other side of the creek, probably 200 yards or so from my tent, with the added barrier of a creek between the two, which, I mean, make no mistake, I'm not so delusional to think that a little creek like that poses much of a obstacle for a bear, but makes me feel better anyways. So yeah, so my stuff is on the other side of the creek. My tent is someplace up here. I kind of lost it. Not sure where in the places I put it. I'm not sure if I said the temperature. It's 71 degrees. 71 degrees even. It has been a nice day. Definitely got a little warm earlier, maybe an hour or two after Martin and I were dropped off. It was into the low 80s, low to mid 80s. Here's my tent. Into the low to mid 80s, and that was a little concerning, but I mean, we were climbing, not concerning, just uncomfortable. We were climbing an elevation, stayed climbing an elevation. I think we put on, I don't know what, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet of elevation gain or something today. I don't really know. Not really important. I didn't make it those extra few miles that I had mentioned because this last 2 miles or so, coming into what wound up being camp here, this last 2 miles or so was just full of blowdowns. I mean, slow going. I mean, there was more trail covered by blown down trees than there was pretty clear trail like this, which was definitely not great, and pretty slow going. And the notes on far out say that there is just even more slow going coming up. The next 2 miles or so is also supposed to be full of blowdowns, and so rather than spend another like hour trying to go 2 miles, hour plus trying to go another 2 miles just to be struggling to find a place to pitch my tent, I found what looks like, to me, a pretty gosh darn good spot right here. And in what looks like it's somewhat anomalous for this area, there is primarily dirt under my tent as opposed to these huge sort of slabs of rock, like you have over here. But yeah, so I was able to drive my stakes and everything okay, and that's just fine. So yeah, man, I mean, bummer to split up with Martin today, but I mean, I think that's just kind of the way the trail goes, you know. I mean, not everyone moves at the same speed, and if you don't move at the same speed, you don't hike together. That's just kind of what it is. So you know, it's not a matter of his fault or my fault. It's not a bad, I mean, it's a bad thing because I can't hike with my buddy Martin anymore, but I'm sure we'll see each other again, and we'll definitely keep in touch. But you know, this is just the way the trail works, and that's why I always think, I mean, everyone's different, and everyone's approach is different, everyone's methodology is different, and everyone's patience with having to adjust their desired rate of travel is different. But to my mind, I always think it would be a bit of a mistake to come out and try and hike one of these trails with someone explicitly, unless you have a really clear understanding that you either under no circumstances are splitting up and hiking separately, or that under no circumstances you aren't splitting up and hiking separately. You have to be pretty clear-eyed about that, I think, because I mean, it's just what it is, you know. Everyone hikes different speeds. So anyways, I am camped less than a mile from the junction. I mean, probably less than half a mile of the junction with the Cirque of the Towers alternate. And just even here on this hike into camp, I don't know if you were able to make it out through the trees, but I could darn sure make it out in real life. Some of the amazing geology and just incredible sort of mountainous features that I have coming up tomorrow, and I am super excited about it. So yeah, I'm gonna jump into the bunk, get away from some of these mosquitoes, and start processing some video, all that business. Hopefully fall asleep early and wake up early and get going. I do want to get across the Cirque and all those passes that are associated with this alternate before midday, because that's when the thunderstorms, if they happen, that's when they'll happen, I think. So we'll kind of see. Got lucky today. Hopefully tomorrow as well. But all right, another long check-in, but that's what it is sometimes. I will get to bed and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, that's it. Talk to you tomorrow.